I was told that what I was about to do was dangerous. My GP had the blood test to prove it, just not in the direction they expected. I'm Neil, 53 years old, 13 years of NHS blood test records, and I'm off all medication since February 2024. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened during that 10-day fast, the biomarkers, the daily data, and what the GP said when he looked at my results. And if you've been told fasting isn't for people on medication, this is worth understanding, whatever your situation. We're going to start with what the blood test looked like before, because that context is everything. Then I'll walk you through the 10 days, what I tracked, what the data showed, and where the numbers went that I didn't expect. And then the blood tests after. One at the GP in February 2024, one 2 years later, and what they said about the whole question of whether this was dangerous. We start with the Boxing Day morning that I decided to begin. I was 18 stone when I started. I was on multiple medications, statins, gout meds, asthma inhalers, antihistamines, and decided to stop eating for 10 days. And to do that, I need to explain what was happening in the body during those 10 days, because the word dangerous only makes sense if you understand the mechanism. And once you understand the mechanism, the question changes. What actually happens when you stop eating? Most people think of fasting as deprivation, running on empty. Your body's panicking. The medical establishment version of this is starvation mode. The idea that going without food sends your system into crisis. That belief is wrong, and here is why. Think of your body's energy system like a house with two fuel sources. You've got mains gas, that's glucose, the quick stuff, instant heat, easy to use. Most of us run on it all day. Every meal tops it up. There's also a wood burner in the corner. Hasn't been lit in years, but it's there. Ketones, fuel made from body fat. When the gas gets cut off, the house gets cold for a bit while you figure out how to light the wood burner. Day 1 or 2, it's smoky, inefficient. You're not sure this is going to work. Day 3, roaring fire. House is warmer than it's been in years. And here's the thing you haven't noticed. There's a forest of logs in the garden. Body fat, enough to run on for weeks. That's ketosis, not starvation, a fuel switch. The starvation model says you're running out of money. The reality is more like this. Starvation is £0 in your account, bailiffs at the door. Fasting is £50,000 in a savings account, choosing not to withdraw from the current account for 10 days. Your body isn't panicking. It's just withdrawing from savings instead. The money's there. It's just in a different account. Claiming fasting equals starvation is like saying you can't buy a coffee because you left your wallet at home. When you've got 50 grand in the bank, your body has the fuel. It's just learning to access it. Now, what happens on day 1, 2, 3, because this is where people quit, day 1 feels like running a marathon in work shoes. Uncomfortable, strange, energy is inconsistent. Your body is burning through the last of the glycogen in your liver and muscles. By day 2, it's gone. Blisters forming, energy is low. You're questioning everything. This is normal. This is adaptation, not damage. Day 3, sometimes day 4, is different. There's a moment I've experienced across multiple extended fasts. I call it the quiet. You're standing in the middle of a busy train station, announcements blaring, people rushing past, noise everywhere, hunger signals, irritability, that low-grade discomfort, overwhelming. And then you sit down, close your eyes for 10 minutes, open them, silence. The station is still busy, but you can't hear it anymore. You're watching from behind glass, calm, detached, clear. That's day 3 or 4. The quiet arrives. Hunger's gone. Mental fog lifts. You're floating 6 inches above the chaos. This isn't me being poetic. That's a psychological shift. Ketones, the brain's alternative fuel, are cleaner burning than glucose. Once you're running on them properly, mental clarity often improves. This is documented. It's reproducible. And it only happens if you get past day 2, sometimes day 3. The autophagy question. Now here's where the research gets interesting and where I've had to update my own assumptions. There's a body of fasting research that puts autophagy, cellular cleanup, damaged proteins clearing out, all cellular junk being recycled at the 48 to 72 hour mark. That's what I'd read. That's what most fasting content says. Wait 48 hours, then the good stuff starts. Research now suggests that's not quite right. Autophagy isn't a switch, it's a gradient. It starts ramping up around 18 to 24 hours, peaks deeper in, yes, but the cellular repair process begins much earlier than the 48-hour rule implies. I have my own data on this. Day 8 of my 70-day reset, 26 hours fasted, glucose 77, ketones 1.6, GKI 2.7. That's therapeutic ketosis range at 26 hours, not 48. The cleanup crew was already on site. The 48-hour convention is probably based on less metabolically flexible people. After months of fasting practice, the switch happens faster. That matters whether you've been told you have a metabolic condition or not. The mechanism, the body's ability to enter therapeutic ketosis and begin cellular repair develops over time. It runs in the background. Understanding it gives you options before any GP conversation forces the issue. The medication question. Here's what everyone with a medical history wants to know. What about medication? Is fasting safe on prescription drugs? I'm not your GP. What I can tell you is what I did, what I tracked and what the results showed. When I did a fast in January 2025, I had a blood test, kidney function, eGFR over 90, excellent. That matters because the kidneys are the first thing that most people worry about during extending fasting. At that point, mine were fine going in, and are monitored throughout. The late Michael Mosley and Tim Spector, a medical doctor and an epidemiologist, agreed on something without hesitation in a conversation on Zoe that I've logged in my own evidence library. Lifestyle changes can be as powerful as medicine. Not lifestyle changes as a nice supplement to medicine, as powerful as. That's a significant claim from two credible medical professionals. And it maps onto what my blood tests eventually confirmed. The safety question isn't, is extending fasting dangerous? The real question is extended fasting dangerous for this person, with this blood work, with this monitoring? Those are completely different questions. When I first started back in Boxing Day 2023, 18 stone, I stopped eating. I want to be straight with you. That first day, strange is probably the right word to describe it. Not painful, not desperate, just unfamiliar. I had previously done some intermittent fasting, 18-6, 16-8, but not a lot. I hadn't ever done a long fast at this point. It was my first fast. Day 1, energy, 7 out of 10. Mood, 7. Hunger present, but manageable. Glucose stable. Day 2 was harder. Honestly, energy dipped, felt cold, and that's something no one seems to talk about, the amount of cold that you feel during a fast. It's not dangerously cold, but that cold sensation when your body is switching fuel sources and hasn't hit full efficiency yet, it's annoying, it's uncomfortable, not alarming. Day 4 for me was when the quiet arrived the first time, exactly as I've described it. Hunger gone, mental clarity went up. I've documented this in other videos, and I've seen it in several of my fasts. It arrives between day 3 and 4 for me, and your brain switches to ketones and things just get easier, quieter. By day 8, I was taking daily biomarkers, glucose 77, ketones 1.6, GKI 2.7. I have been in therapeutic ketosis as early as 26 hours into a fast. I've also taken 4 days to get there. It's not a switch at 48 hours. My body has learned, as I've done it more, that it gets there easier. That pattern, hitting therapeutic ketosis earlier as metabolic flexibility improves, is one of the data that shows across bodies that have been training this way consistently, not just mine. Something to be aware of is that the weight that you lose in the first 7 to 10 days, about half of it will be water and glycogen that's leaving the body. That's real weight that will come back, so you will have a weight increase during the refeed. The metabolic work, the cellular repair, the biomarker changes, those don't come back. 12 weeks after Boxing Day 2023, I sat in my GP surgery with the first blood test in stopping all my medications. I'd stopped statins, gout meds, asthma inhalers, antihistamines, all of it. And as discussed, I've been doing fasting and eating whole food. 4 months at this point. My GP opened the results, looked up, cholesterol stable, uric acid optimal, inflammatory markers down. And then he said something that I didn't really expect. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. No lecture, no concern, just data talking. The second big moment for me came in December 2025, a couple of months ago. Nearly 2 years after I started, a letter from my GP confirming blood tests. The letter said I was off the risk register for everything that they'd been monitoring. Every marker was in optimal to normal range, 20 months without any medications, someone who'd smoked up to 200 a day, but 100 consistently for over a decade, being at 18 stone, being 1 point away from diabetic, had high cholesterol, gout, asthma, kidney and liver markers being watched and tracked by my GP, and now I'm off the list entirely. I didn't frame it as a win for fasting specifically, it's a win for fixing the inputs, fasting, real food, simple movement, enough sleep. 6 medications, statins, gout, pills, asthma inhalers, altitude tablets, the lot. I stopped all of them in 2024. Not because a YouTuber told me to, because I felt better from eating whole food, starting to get my sleep in order, and from fasting. I've been documenting that for 2 years. If that's the kind of thing sounds worth following, please subscribe. If I was starting an extended fast from scratch, knowing what I know now, there are 3 things I'd do differently. First, I'd have better biomarker data going in. I had my blood test, but I didn't have daily glucose readings from the weeks before. The baseline matters. If your fasting glucose is already elevated going in, that changes how you read the numbers during the fast. Get a baseline. 2 weeks of morning readings before you start anything extended. Second, I'd start shorter. The 10-day fast as a starting point came out of I've had enough. But the reality is, building up to it would have made it easier. The body learns. Metabolic flexibility let me hit therapeutic ketosis at 26 hours on day 8 of the rhythm reset. That came from months of practice. If you're thinking about extended fasting and you haven't done a clean 48-hour fast yet, start there. Third, and this one people skip, I'd pay more attention to the refeed. Breaking the fast every single time I've rushed it. Your digestive system has been on holiday, feed up, not a care in the world. Monday morning, you don't storm back into the office and immediately present to the board. You ease in. Bone broth, light soup to start. A couple of hours later, something small and easily digested. A light evening meal. If you rush it and straight to the full roast dinner, and I have done this, your gut goes on strike. Cramps, bloating, a deeply unpleasant afternoon. Ease in. Respect the office return. Practically, if you want to test extended fasting safely, here is the minimum effective dose. 24-hour fast first. 1 meal, then nothing until the same time the next day. Log your energy, your mood, your hunger. Just put notes in your phone. See how you feel. That's your baseline. If 24 hours felt manageable, try 48. Add some electrolytes, salt and potassium in your water. Magnesium before bed. The electrolyte piece is non-negotiable on anything beyond 24 hours. Your body is a car battery. Water alone is distilled water in the battery. It won't hold a charge. Electrolytes are what make it work. If you're on medication, speak to your GP before any extended fast. Not because you need permission, because you need information. Know your kidney function. Know your blood pressure baseline. Know what your specific medication does during a fasting state. That conversation will take 10 minutes or so and removes 90% of the risk, if there are risks for you. Red flags to stop and seek advice. Dizziness that doesn't pass when you sit down. Chest discomfort. Heart rate sustained. Significant confusion. Any of those, break the fast, eat something, ring your GP or NHS 111. If extending fasting is something you're considering, or you're just curious what a proper tracked fast looks like, the 7-day fasting blueprint is in the description. It's free, it covers the structure, the electrolytes, the red flags, the refeed, everything I wish I'd had written down clearly when I started. One thing I want to be clear about before you go, this is educational content, it is not medical advice. Before you change your fasting pattern, your diet or your medication, speak to your GP, especially if you're on diabetes medication or blood pressure medication. Fasting changes how these drugs work. The conversation is worth having before you start, not after.